Hello, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Good morning. My name is Tom from Global Dream, and welcome to this next round of D-Talks, disruptive talks about literacy. And it's my real pleasure today to be welcoming Ashok Bhaiji, who's a director of Sebagi Shiksha Kendra, an NGO doing some really wonderful work in the literacy field in many parts of India, but also specifically in Sitapur district, just north of Lucknow. So we're really privileged to be welcoming him today. I'm sure I will learn a lot. I hope all of you who are tuning in will also really enjoy this discussion. And just a reminder to all of you who are watching the recording, and especially to those who are coming in live, please do feel free to share your comments and questions as we go, and I'll share them with Ashokji. And I think it'll be a great discussion. So first, we'll just hear from Ashokji about some of his experiences, specifically in the adult literacy field. He's done some excellent work in adult literacy in rural areas. So we'll hear from his long years of experience and wisdom there, and then we'll have plenty of space for Q&A and discussion. So without further ado, Ashok Bhaiji, really warm welcome to you, and please do share with us some of your experience doing the fantastic work, very important work of promoting adult literacy in rural areas.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my insights and learnings that we have derived from a project called Adult Literacy Program. We call it Functional Literacy Program for Women. This program we have implemented in Varanasi district, in about 2 blocks in Varanasi district, and now currently we are implementing in 1 block, 2 block in Sitapur district, Khairabad and Pasandi. Sebagi Shikshan Kendra is a non-profit. There are 2 types of work that we are doing. The one is providing a lot of technical, managerial, and training support to a large number of grassroots level organizations of UP, Bihar, and Jharkhand. And then we have our direct intervention program, where we are working on different issues like disaster management and integrated rural development program, women empowerment. But education has been always a core program for us. And when we were working in the village, we realized that there is a need for doing something on literacy for women, because normally all our program, they try to involve women. The focus is only on women, and we find that a lot of women, because of the poor literacy, they were not properly able to function in their collectives. So then we had a lot of discussion, and we read all the literature about adult education and the principles of adult education, how adults learn. But we were not interested in implementing a traditional sort of adult education program where women will come, we will teach them, they will go back. But we wanted to do more than this, so we did a lot of discussion, brainstorming, and then we realized that we need to develop a program which is basically responding to their day-to-day need, day-to-day life, the knowledge and experience, the learning which takes, they are able to use it in their day-to-day life. So we call it a functional literacy. This literacy program will make them more functional in their day-to-day life. So that was the trademark. That was the focus behind which we developed this program. And so we did some consultation, developed a module. The module suggests that the total program duration would be about 4 months, and we selected some young women, and had a we did a training program and how to run this program, what is the focus, how to engage women. So these instructors were trained in about 15 days training program, very intensive training program, and number of people who have worked on education, they were called as a resource person. So we started this program in Varanasi and then in Sitapur. So we are running about 15. Initially we started with 20 such centers. In one center, there were 15 to 20 women, mostly women who have not attended to school, or just 1 or 2 classes, semi-literate. And there were two part of this program, 4 months. One part was on literacy, pure literacy, and the second part was, we developed a number of identified number of issues such as, basically home management, understanding how the local self governance, the panchayat raj system is functioning, and what is their role, how they can, be active on this. Then what are the different government schemes, the bank, how it operates, digital literacy, uh, basic, digital literacy or financial literacy, home management. So these kind of, sanitation, preparing home budget, those kind of issues were discussed. And then we started this program. It was very difficult initially, very challenging, because number of people have tried out adult education program. Whenever we say that we are going to start adult education program, please come, we'll conduct this class. Normally they think they will go with the pencil and slates and do the kakha gaga and only literacy. And there were other challenges also, for women, and basically we target initially 45 plus women, because they have a greater role in their families, and they need to be more functional. So there was no encouragement from their families. So they were basically facing a lot of challenge, either from the husband or other family members. Second is, whenever they are coming to the class, they need to come for 2 to 3 hours, and there was no support system, alternative support system for them, because since they are absent from the house for 2 3 hours, so their work was pending, nobody was willing to do. So that support system was lacking. These women, mostly they are also, they were engaged in some kind of, either daily wages or engaged in agriculture work. So they were also going to lose, their daily wage income. So that was another problem. Hence, initially, most of their, male members, uh, they opposed a lot about that. Then the whole pedagogy, about the teaching literacy, so they were not very convinced. So we started this program. We also said we are going to have some kind of income generation program, some skill building program will also be there. So in order to encourage them and attract them, we also have kept about 4 sewing machine in each center. So whenever after this literacy class, they are also encouraged to practice some of the skills, do some stitching. There is an instructor, she will do this. So we started this program. There were a lot of initially challenges, but later on it picked up very well. Women took a lot of interest, and our experiences says that women, they have been mostly denied the opportunity for learning. So whenever women get any opportunity to learn, they utilize it, and the maximum, they utilize it. But it has to be very stimulating, engaging, interesting. Then only, they take a lot of interest. So this was a challenge, but they enjoyed it. And when they started learning some literacy. The second part, where we were having some discussion on strategy, the sanitation, government scheme, how panchayat function, digital literacy, on those areas, they took a lot of interest. And another part was that, we realized that most of the women are confined to their home only. So we hired vehicle and took them to different government, department. We took them to the DM office, the BDO office, to the bank, to the local police station, and they interacted with the Mahila Thana and how FIRs are filed, how. So they have different kind of idea about the different, offices. Like they were very, thrilled to meet a Thanedar. Thanedar, local police sub inspector, means a lot to them. They only see that these women, these police, well, they come only when there's some problem. But they interacted. They said, what are the different, provisions to protect women. So they were very impressed. So these kind of study tours were very much, effective, and they started taking a lot of interest. And after the first batch, then the participation was not the issue. And after the literacy class, they were, spending some time and learning some stitching skills. So after the this is a 4 month program, and so two batches per month, and we trained about more than 1,000 women from this center since last 3 years. And then we also realized that we do not have adequate learning material, IEC material which can be used to make their learning interesting. So we learned about Global Dream project, the materials that you have developed. We had interaction with you. Tom also visited our some of the centers. He saw the kind of work that we are doing, and we started using. So these materials are very useful, very interesting, and it's very engaging. They all the women were engaged in writing and making these words. So in literacy classes, we have used all this material, and the training was given to the instructor also how to use this. So this was additional IEC materials which are very useful, and we got a lot of encouragement support. In one of the field visits, we also took them to Devi Sansthan. You have our adult education program, so they just visited there. So this exchange was also very useful, and so this is the way we are doing. Then we started this program in Varanasi also, and Varanasi also the same process happened, and in Varanasi also in two blocks this is being run. Now in all other projects, because we were very thrilled, very encouraged by seeing the result of this program, this intervention. Now in all our proposal, there is one component of this, functional and literacy program for the adult women. And right now I am sitting in a very remote area in Palamu district of Jharkhand, and here we are running a program with support from LIC. And education and adult function literacy center is one of the major program here also. So we have trained about 15 instructors. There are 15 centers that we are running here, and this is going on very well. Even in Jharkhand also, this is going on very well. We are using all this material. Uh, so some of the insights that we derived from this initiative is that women find try to find some opportunity for learning. If the learning is interesting in a conducive environment where they are their experiences are valued, encouraged, promote, they are people are not laughing on them, they are encouraging whatever experiences they have, their participation enhances. And the literacy program is basically helping them build rebuilding their confidence. So this is one of the most important tool for building confidence of the women who have not actually gone to the village in the schools, and because of which they are like targeted in their families, in their communities. They have not gone to school, they are illiterate. So we don't encourage to use the word of illiterate, but women who have not been able to go to school. So, but and now from some of the villages there is a demand for the male members who are not literate. You should also start similar initiative for us also. So we have documented a number of case studies where women have done some good work after going through this the whole learning. They have started taking interest in school management committee. So now they are part of the school management committee. They go to the nearby schools, they ask questions in SMC meetings. These women now attend the Gram Sabha meeting, ask question about development issues in the panchayat. They ask a lot of questions to the panchayat, and people are able to see the change, the change, the confidence, uh, you know and then we also realize that they are now literate, they are able to write their name, they are able to understand how bank function, and but some kind of certification is must. Without certification they are still considered in the category of illiterate. So we had a collaboration with national literacy program. National literacy program runs an exam. So we encouraged all our women to sit in the exam. They have passed out. Now they have got the certificate. No, no. So now they very proudly say that now they are literate. They are not illiterate, and that we also see from their behavior. So this has been an excellent program we are going through. We get a lot of support. We encourage. There is a need for developing some more, you know, the kind of IC material that you have developed. You know, Global Dream Project has developed similar kind of interesting, you know, materials we need because the whole process has to be very interesting, engrossing, and which challenges their creativity. So we find that those materials were also very useful. So we need more such more those kind of materials, and this is the overall experiences. We are very thrilled, and we have decided to make part of this program in all our project proposal in future also that we will do. So thank you, Tom. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Wow, thank you so much, Ashok Bhaiji. That's really lovely to hear your description of the fantastic work you're doing there. Such valuable work for adult literacy, especially for women, as you're describing. It can make such a huge difference in their lives. It's great to see many of you are tuning into this on YouTube. You can also watch on Facebook, and please do feel free to share your thoughts, share your questions, and I'll pass them on to Ashokji because we're just moving into a time of Q&A coming up. So, Ashokji, one question that came to mind as you were describing, could you
Sure.
please elaborate a bit more on what sort of difference it makes in women's lives when they become literate? Because sometimes people say to me that अब पढ़ लिख कर हम क्या कर लेंगे, अभी इतनी उम्र हो गई है, हम अब पढ़ लिख के क्या कर लेंगे. But as you say, many people are really passionate, they want to learn. So can you share a little what difference does it make in these women's lives, all the women's lives too? What difference does it make in their lives when they become literate?
Right, right. We did some case studies also. We observed, as a part of follow up, we have kept constant touch with them, and we have provided additional reading material so that their interest for reading is sustained. One major difference that you can see, that these women have become slightly more active in their day to day their life. They have started going to the panchayat meeting, they have started going to the SMC meeting and asking some question. Most of the women, they have started interacting with smaller children, what kind of learning they are doing. उनका copy देखते हैं, what was the today lesson, how they have started helping the small children. And now they know the banking operations, how to fill up the form, even how to use the ATM card. So basically this program has made them more active in their day to day. That is, I can give you so many examples where these women have actually done after this program. That is one. And second, their respect in the eyes of younger generation, even husband, colleagues, that has also increased because they have understood, they have gone attended, now they have got a certificate. So that respect of being literate, you can see on their faces. So they feel more
That's
proud, more active, more confident. So those
that's
kind of
wonderful.
changes
That's
you can see.
wonderful. Beautiful. So it helps women to become more active in public life and also to earn a lot more respect within the family.
Right.
So true. So true. Um, I would like one other thought that came to mind as you were describing is you mentioned you're focusing mainly on women's literacy, but also that some men have expressed interest. So how have you found it working with men? Because I know in my experience sometimes it's a little harder to reach out to men. Maybe they will be more embarrassed to come to class. So how have you gone with reaching out to men also?
We are still having discussion because we also see a lot of challenges for conducting such courses for men. One is the timing, and because based on their involvement, daytime may not be possible. That's why I think most of the adult education classes were being run in the night. So we were also thinking of starting in night, but the initial hesitation, then what people will say, they will laugh, those kind of issues, especially in those areas where we have already done, is not there. you know Men are all willing to come, but
Mhm.
basically from the poor community. They are, it's a question of livelihood also, how they will take out time for 2 3 hours. So whether in the
Mhm.
evening it is possible, we are still thinking and exploring what
Mhm.
can be done. But there is a urge, there is a demand for the male, illiterate male also, to start similar program, and we are really interested to start in some of the selected places, especially in Sitapur.
Wonderful, wonderful. So there is a demand from for there from men, and that's great because, like you say, there should be no shame. मैं बोलता हूँ लोगों से कि आपको कोई शर्म की बात नहीं है, आपको पढ़ने नहीं आता है,
शर्म की बात।
पर हम आपको सिखा सकते हैं, कोई शर्म की बात नहीं है. और अच्छा है कि आप सीखना चाहते हैं. It does take some courage for them to
और
want to learn, but
अब तो
yeah,
उन्होंने महिलाओं को
that's
देख लिया
fantastic.
है ना। अब तो उन्होंने
हाँ,
तो महिलाओं को देख लिया पढ़ते हुए, तो उनको
हाँ,
लगता है कि दे फील दैट दे कैन आल्सो गो एंड, बट
yes,
दैट,
yes,
बिकॉज सिंस दे आर द मेन bread earner, no? So for them,
yes,
the timing and, yeah, that is going to be extremely important, because in
yes,
the
yes,
daytime, how to manage this. In fact,
yes. That's
with
right.
one of donor, we were suggesting that is it possible to give them, daily wage for the number of days that they will attend. But then, the whole the focus of the program will change, and the whole, we rejected this idea. Though the donor were
Yes.
ready to provide this, but we did not accept this idea.
Yes, yes, that's right. So, like you say, very important for us to be flexible as NGOs who are helping people learn how to read. We need to be flexible for the timing, for the location, so
Right,
that it can be suitable for the people we are
right.
trying to reach. Yeah, yeah. I would like to just introduce you all to Dr. Sunita Gandhi. So, welcome, Dr. Sunita. And Dr. Sunita has many years of experience. She happens to be my boss also. Many years of experience in Devi Sansthan, working on these similar issues of adult literacy and child literacy also. And yeah, it's been a really wonderful partnership between Devi Sansthan and Sevagi in some of these literacy centers in Sitapur, and we're seeing beautiful fruits from that, as Ashok Heidi is describing. So welcome, Sunita ma'am. And would you like to share anything of what you've heard so far of Ashokji's experience?
Yes, I've been keenly listening to Sir. Ashokji is somebody of an ideal person and idol for me as well. As far as being a boss of Tom, nobody can boss Tom. Because
Yes, yes.
Tom is an independent spirit, and I'm very happy that independent spirit is connected and collaborating with us. He's a force to reckon with. He's totally an amazing person. And today he's as host. Sahbagi, जो center sir is running, is doing incredible work in a variety of areas. And I had the pleasure of visiting sir and his center a few years ago.
Okay.
And since then, I'm a big fan. Um, okay, so I'd like to say with that introduction that what Sir has been saying is absolutely wonderful to hear. That the literacy programs that he has been working with have encompassed a huge group of people in Sitapur, in now Banaras and Jharkhand. I think these are the areas Sir mentioned. So that is phenomenal. I think in some places he has used the Global Dream toolkits, but maybe not in all places, because we specifically ask that the session be not more than 20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, so that way, if the learners are coming for 1 hour, 2 hours, they get a little bit hesitant. But when they come for 20 minutes on the way to some place, they say, Chalo, let's stop for 20 minutes here and do our literacy as well. I think they're more inclined. Of course, what we found, like in some of the villages, and Sir may have found the same, that the women like to chit chat and discuss and have a kitty party of their own, but the actual academic part need not be more than 20 minutes. And the
20
reason is
minutes.
that the yes sir, so because the methodology that we use is basically mind connections. We
Right.
have really fine tuned it even further, and we are saying now that the methodology that the volunteer uses with the learner, and volunteer is not an instructor anymore, the volunteer is a mentor. And the
Right.
mentor simply asks ye kya hai, what is this, then waits for the response, and even if the learner is struggling, doesn't tell. So it is ask, wait, don't tell. And how can a teacher not tell? I mean, teachers are designed to tell and speak. So we are saying, instead they should just let the learners come up with the answer, even if it takes a long time. Because what happens is, supposing in that first 15 minutes, 20 minutes lesson, they're not able to do it, they think about it overnight, they come back the next day and they have the answer. And when they come up with the answer themselves, they are very much elated and excited, and also boost their inner confidence that I'm capable of learning, which is one of the things we face often with the new learners, that they have this hesitancy and this sense of I don't think I can learn. That in confidence. So we counter that. But more importantly, with the methodology, once they understand just one or two formations of these words using pictures, then sounds and words, they are able to do the entire book one, which is Bina Matra Wale Shabd, on their own, pretty much, with the
Yeah.
mentor just asking questions and just waiting for a response. And even the mentor doesn't need to ask. In fact, we have found this very powerful, to have two people work with each other as peers. And that has also worked very, very well in the context of getting the learning to speed up. So they are kind of working with each other, and the mentor is just there to motivate and to support. So we're changing the terminology of instructor to motivator, and we're designing it around that. So Tom has got his screen up. I think he wants to share something. Please go ahead, Tom. You want to say something? Unmute yourself, please.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sundar, for that description. And I just thought it would be helpful for you all who are watching to understand a little more of this. So this is the Global Dreams Book 1, so first lesson. So this is where we would start with somebody who is totally illiterate, totally unlettered. So we would start by, like Sunita ma'am was mentioned, it's not about telling the answer to the learner. It's all about asking questions and giving them the chance to think. And as Ashokji was sharing also, it's such an empowering process because they are making the connections themselves and they feel so excited that they are learning. Nobody's telling them, they are learning themselves. So in practice, it means I would be asking somebody, अच्छा, ये किस चीज की चित्र है? बत्तख है. अच्छा, बत्तख की पहली आवाज क्या है? बा. और ये किस चीज की चित्र है? सपेरा. सपेरा की पहली आवाज क्या है? Sa. So it's all about just asking them the questions, giving them the chance to respond, and it gives great joy to them when they are able to make these connections themselves, and from the very first lesson start putting together words and sentences which have meaning. Yeah.
So
I just
yes, it's about going from known to the unknown, from concrete like an object or some picture in their mind that's concrete, to the abstract, which is the symbol of ba or sa, which is an abstract, and relating that sound, the first sound, which is say ba, to the symbol ba, the letter ba. And what happens in this, what we found, because we took a very experimental approach to the whole thing, rather than just assume a certain way of teaching. Normally, the teaching happens by teaching the alphabet first. So, A se anar, Ba se battak, and so forth. But we don't put the se in the middle, Ba se battak. In fact, we don't even do Ba se battak. We do battak ba, and there's no battak se ba either. Battak ba, because ba falls out of battak. So it's very natural to say battak ba, sapera sa, ba sa, bas. And once they understand that this is the methodology involved in learning this entire book one, that means the entire alphabet of Hindi, or 13 languages of India have been covered by these toolkits. So they can derive learning on their own because they've understood the methodology by which they learn. They already know the chitra, the picture. They know the picture of patang, and they know a picture of Rassi. If they have any doubt about the picture, we can tell, but we cannot tell the rest of it. The rest of it they need to derive on their own. And once they do that, they learn quicker, and they have more confidence. So that's the methodology. And many times teachers or volunteers don't understand that. They look at this and they start reversing it in their old way. So they start saying bas ya battak, even though it's battak first. They start doing that old way, and that way they slow down learning because they make it rote rather than derive from the mind. And those mind connections, when we spend more time connecting things in our mind, the learning is more solid and more permanent. And they can derive on their own, and they keep looking for these things in the environment. We don't need to give any homework. In fact, we don't even need to give this book, because they have these pictures in their minds, and through the pictures they're deriving, and they're seeing many more pictures. They're seeing objects in the environment and looking for their first sounds and trying to make sensible words with them, even if they don't know the symbol for that particular sound. They're trying to make the word. So I think it is a powerful methodology. It's worth a try doing it this way. And then they don't need more than 10 to 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes of real lesson, because it's actually quite heavy on the mind.
Very, very true. Very true. I can attest this from my own experience of I've taught almost 100 kids and adults how to read using these books, and it's very, very powerful methodology. As Sebagi is also partnering with us now, we're excited that many of their women are also using these books, and they're reporting that they really enjoy it. Um, I want to go back. Several good comments are coming in. So thank you, and please, all of you who are viewing, feel free to share your thoughts and questions as well. So one question is coming from Mashul ji. He's asking, what steps should be taken by civil societies to help address the problem, which is of illiterate adults being unable to access digital healthcare? So I think this is very true. It's in my experience also, many people who are illiterate don't have access to a smartphone. They can't use a smartphone. So in this current age in which so many services, especially healthcare, are becoming digitized, how can we help them to access those services? What can be done to address this problem? Your thoughts, Ashok Bhaiji? Oh, sorry, you're on mute. Yeah.
So I was saying, the big question, but the idea is that we need to do something. Civil society has a very positive role in promoting this kind of literacy program for the women, and we have tried different models, but the time has uh, come to do some more innovations. Like Global Dream project, you have already developed very interactive and new tools kit which can be used, and using those kind of tools, there are a number of young population in the community who are uh, you know who can also be their services can be taken, and they can be encouraged to do some kind of literacy program, through using. But though there's a lot of question regarding the pedagogy, up till now the kind of program that we have used, the kind of materials that we have used, there's a need to rethink about those things. And you'll have to make it more interesting, uh, but you need this kind of program in the village. Still, maybe people are literate for the primary literacy and other thing, but they need some more input on this. And a large number of civil society organizations should have an essential component of this kind of literacy program in their all kind of program that we are doing, but this is not a separate project. It's part of, it's a cross-cutting the program that needs to be combined in all the program that they are doing. But need more and more civil society involvement in carrying out this kind of program. Use the material that you have developed, the other material that we have developed, run this kind of the program whenever you find some time. Even mohalla level the literacy program can be organized, and make more interesting, use new literature, new material, new set of learning tools and techniques, and and uh, and and you should civil society organizations should do this.
जी अशोक जी, वो जो 20 मिनट की बात हो रही है, when we say 20-minute sessions, it
Hmm.
means more catchment, more
Right.
ladies but also more men saying, okay,
Men
20
also.
minutes, I think I can spare. The moment we say 2 hours, I think there's a huge commitment. There's one thing more that we've been experimenting with, because we've been taking experimental approach to the whole literacy issue. Uh, Recently, during the COVID, I've been trying out something called name literacy, what we are calling name literacy, and
Hmm.
basically helping people to learn how to write their name, not using the alphabet, write their name uh, as symbols first before we begin the literacy program. And
Okay.
normally, what happens is we teach them the entire alphabet and the matras, then we teach them how to write their name. And by the time they get to their name, it takes a long time, 4 months, 3 months, 6 months. But if we were to teach them to write their name in the first three sittings of 20 minutes each, or first four sittings or five sittings of 20 minutes each, that is, means 3 to 5 days or 7 days maximum, we find that the learners are getting a great sense of satisfaction, and
Right.
they feel they're no longer anguta chap. They are able to read and write their own name, and it gives a new sense of empowerment to them. And it becomes also what we found, a pull strategy. Like
Right.
normally we have to convince people, oh, come to our classes and it's good for you. Here, once we say, oh, let's teach you, we don't tell them about the whole thing. We just talk about name literacy. Why don't you come for 2 or 3 sittings, and you will be able to, for 20 minutes each for 2, 3 days, 4 days, and you'll be able to write your name. And they're excited about that idea. In fact, on the very first day, many of them can write, and then it's a question of perfecting it, because we are
Right.
introducing it not as letters but as symbols. And we also are connected to sounds, a methodology we'll use later on in the teaching of literacy through the Global Dream program. So we'll say, what is the first sound in your name? So it'll be like, in my name, Sue. And what is the second sound in your name? Ni. And what's your last sound? Ta. So, but they don't always understand the sounds, so we have to say with my name, and then they tell with their name. So first we identify the sounds, then on the basis of the sounds we show them symbols for their sounds. So not as sa u, but su, and not na and e separately, but ni, and not ta and a
Right.
separately, but ta. So just three cards are made: su and ni and ta. And then we show them these cards for recognizing their sounds and the symbols, and we play 4 games with them. And after the 4 games, they're able to understand the sounds, and we show them how to write each sound in sand or on slate, or on a tray we put flour, atta, and we have them draw on the thali itself with their fingers. So I think this is, a process I've put in a PPT as well as in a animated video. So anyone can just take it up, and if they follow the steps exactly, then they can teach the learner to write properly, and it becomes their signature. And the learners that I have worked with, I mean, they're feeling so exhilarated. They're also interested. What's very interesting is that they are interested now in learning the rest of it. So instead of saying, look, become literate, it'll take you 3 months, because their time horizons are so short, we are saying to them, the next thing you will learn is how to read a newspaper. And we can do that in 3 weeks, maximum 4 weeks. You can learn how to read a newspaper. Then we say, how
Right.
about you be able to fill forms, and you be able to write your address, and write names of fruits and vegetables and so forth. So that'll take you another 1 week, 2 weeks, right? And then we talk about the next thing, which is that they're able to do their numeracy in another 3 weeks or so. So we divide up the equation into parts, and then we say, after you've done the reading, you can read newspapers, storybooks for children, so many things you can do. So all these things become enticements for them, and they see, okay, the short term nature of learning the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So that's valuable. So I wanted to share that with you, and what you thought of it. There's one other development I'd like to share with you, but this is very recent. So if we can teach that at the beginning of literacy rather than at the end, I think that we can create a pull strategy where the learner wants to come
Right.
and do more.
Right.
Mm. Very true.
Tom,
Very true.
this is very interesting. I just want to mention one or two points.
Mm.
The many civil society organizations, they're actually, wanting to do some work They have reach also. They know the community, but they lack, this kind of expertise
mm,
on pedagogy and how to
mm,
exactly, resource
mm,
material toolkit,
mhm,
because
mhm,
they're not education expert. So we need very, fruitful collaboration with this kind of resource organization like yours. you know there's some other organization who have done a lot of research on this. So the material and IEC, and then civil society organizations who are working at the community level, they have very good reach in the community, and they should they should learn how to use these materials, and that should be used. Because otherwise, if NGOs will start some kind of the adult education center, and adult education center model has not been now very attractive. The same classroom situation is there. We are trying to teach the adult literacy, and this has become, you know this is not the pull factor, this is push factor. So they will go out of the class. So we need
mm,
some this kind of interesting materials, time bound computer. Some organization, they have used computer based learning system also, that was very useful. But there are some logistic issues, so we need this kind of resource organization who can come, who can develop some new materials, new methodology, new pedagogy, and that can be used by civil society organizations. Very interesting
Thank
Thank
you,
thing,
you.
sir.
sir.
Thank you. That's lovely to say, and I think you're spot on that. It's very important. We need to have good intentions, but we also need to have the right methodology to be able to teach people how to read and write easily. And as
Right.
Sunita was sharing, it's crucial to break it up into small steps so that it feels manageable for a person, so that it feels like yes, हम just एक हफ्ते आएंगे, हमें नाम लिखना आ जाएगा, फिर और एक महीने आएंगे, हमें पढ़ना आ जाएगा. So then they can feel really
Hmm.
excited along the way. And
Right.
I want to encourage all of you who are watching this. This is not something that we are just talking about. This is something that you can also be involved in. So please do get in touch with us via our website, globaldream.guru, and reach out to us. We'd love to share these materials with you. And even if you don't take the hard copies of the materials, there's an app through which you can teach somebody easily how to read and write in just a couple of months. So I highly recommend it personally. It's just a fantastic experience. It can change a life, right? Just
Right.
spending a few hours of your time can really transform somebody's life. It's the gift of a lifetime literacy. Um, I want to circle back briefly to a comment that Anushri has made. So, Ashokji, you were sharing on this earlier as well, but as we're discussing empowerment of women, adult literacy, it's such a key way for women to become empowered. Can you share a little more on this topic of some of the changes you've seen in women's lives as they become literate, how that's transformed their relationships within the family and in society? Yes, please do elaborate on this crucial point.
you know I, like I have already shared, basically, get some respect in the family. That is one. Second is they become more active. We have seen after going through, the women who have never been able to attend any gram sabha meeting, they go to the gram sabha meeting. Now they have confidence to ask some question related to school functioning or the cleanliness that has not happened in their community. So those kind of, there are number of cases. uh, we also thought, after this program is over, meaning now they are not going to any particular place for this learning. So how to sustain their interest for the learning? So we started, small library kind of things. We have kept some books, and we are encouraging women. Now there are other women also. They are coming and doing some. I don't, normally the people were laughing when they started going to the centers for this. So that has been stopped. Now they are getting a lot of attention. Other women are also, they are other women and men are also coming forward. So these are the kind of, but in my area, what I have seen, they have started taking a lot of interest in school management committee. They ask, they now know, they ask, in one of these SMC meeting, one women asked, आपके पास कुछ वो है पढ़ाने वढ़ाने का, ऐसे गोल गोल चक्री और वो सबसे पढ़ाते थे. तो दे आर नाउ आस्किंग फॉर द CLM materials, IEC materials, those kind of things. So that is a new change. Even the teachers, they also realize that now these women are asking some question. In Ram Sabha meeting, they are asking question. They have understood the different government schemes. See, what are the different areas when women feel that because of the illiteracy, they are not able to do it. One is they are not able to understand the whole government schemes that that come for them. So they have now understood. They know the different departments they are functioning. What is BDO, what is DM, and how BDO to Tehsildar, who is Tehsil. So those understanding, the bank operation, ATM, money comes from where, and how to use the ATM. So those kind of the new learning gives them a lot of empowerment. And then the confidence level becomes very high.
Beautifully said, Ashokji, and
and
that's
and,
been
and Sunita ji like said, the first pride and the love that they develop by writing their name, that should be the
yes,
first thing. They
yes,
suddenly become very thrilled, and they start
yes,
writing their husband name, their children name, and
yes.
writing the family. And in fact, for them, whenever they start writing their own name, they think that now they are literate.
Yes.
They directly relate their literacy programs with not able to write their own name. और इतना शान से दिखाते हैं. मैं जो सेंटर में गया, सारे लोगों ने अशोक लिख के दिखाया. About 20 women writing Ashok on the slate, and they were showing me. And that is the kind of the pride that developed, because now they are able to write their name. They are not Anguta Chap. Anguta Chap is directly related to giving their status as illiterate. So
Beautiful,
they are really thrilled in if they are able to write their name. So
beautiful.
that can be a best pull factor for women to be more participative in such kind of efforts.
That's exactly right. What a beautiful story of how it empowers women, how it enhances their dignity and their self confidence to be able to sign their name, and like you're saying,
Yes,
also to be able to interact with government officials much more confidently. Yeah, it's just transformative. Sunita, ma'am, I wanted to ask your thoughts too on this issue of now in the COVID era. Obviously, both Sevagi and Devi, everybody's lives have been hugely impacted by the COVID pandemic. And one of the things is we've had to close our physical classes, which is very sad for us and for our learners. But can you share a little on the role of ICT, of information technology, in teaching literacy, how we can use it effectively? Yeah,
Okay, but I'm going to just comment a little bit on what Ashokji just said. If
sure.
in 1 hour or 2 hours before you teach literacy, you teach them name, and sir is
hmm,
so beautifully expressed how much empowerment they feel from the experiences he's had in the field. Um, isn't that amazing thought that you can give the gift of confidence and that sense of identity to a person by spending just 1 hour or maximum 2 hours of your time? Isn't that unbelievable? An opportunity
right,
to do seva, and everyone can be connected to it. It doesn't cost a penny. I mean, it's just free. You just need to understand
right,
how to do it. Go and understand it and just do it, and everyone can do it. So those who are listening in, may consider doing this right away. Find somebody who is an angutha chop and teach them how to write their name. And just go to our website and download the PPT how to do it. um, this particular way, which is very simple and very easy. We've experimented with different ways, and this turns out to be very, very effective. With respect to ICT in literacy, I think that there is effort out there in the community to do foundational literacy and numeracy. We have found that when I first came to India, that there was no interest in literacy. That people would say, "Oh, forget literacy, just let's work on education." Uh, so the arguments like, well, literacy is the first step in education didn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people at that time. But now what we are finding is that people are taking direct interest in literacy. And even in the new education policy, literacy has become the most important focus of education. And I think this is delightful because now more and more people and ed tech companies will come up with good solutions for ICT. What we have been working on is converting our toolkit, which is the Global Dream Toolkit for Literacy, converting that into ICT based material. And this means, yeah, this means that the kit is now available on a mobile app and through a mobile. And so it can go to the heartland of India. It can go to the nooks and corners where people are not able to come out of their places and go to a school or reach literacy conveniently. So I think that this is a new development. We are calling it Global Dream Shala, and we're also making interactive content. So you've got videos, you've got PPTs or PDFs of PPTs, but in addition, interactive content in which the learner can interact with the material. So, for example, fill in the blanks or drag and drop initially. Things like that are possible, and also video chatting with the learner for each step that's going on, or the learner being able to give his sound bite and the computer recognizing the sound bite. So we are able to do that now, and we've taken those steps, but now we are populating it as we speak. But we are ready with the mobile part of it, where the literacy can go on the mobile, and you just have to download our various materials online and just start teaching. So you don't have to wait to go print a book or buy a book or buy a toolkit. You just go straight to teaching, and it's all free. So I think this is where we are hoping more collaboration with Sir and with people at large, the individuals at large, so that we can go out and do this quickly. And yes, it only takes, in our experience, it is a 30-hour literacy. That means that 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours for teaching the name, followed by that literacy, as in the sense of reading and writing, in 15 to 20 hours, and then numeracy in 8 to 10 hours maximum. So all this is possible. And then, of course, continuing education. We can't drop them at that point. We need to continue to work
Right.
with them so they don't lose the habit. So it's
Yeah,
a time commitment we can all make, basically.
wonderfully said. And I once again want to encourage all of you who are watching this, please do reach out and teach. Like we're discussing, it's just so empowering for somebody to be able to learn to write their own name. And it's the first step on a transformative journey. So reach out today, find somebody who is in Guta Chap, and see if they want to learn. I'm sure they will, and be that person for them who takes them on the first step of their journey. Yeah. Ashokji, would you like to share anything on this question as well of the role of ICT in teaching literacy? How is it in rural areas where maybe the ICT penetration is not quite as much as urban areas, but how is it in the context where you are working?
In fact, when we started program, we realized that ICT has a major role, and we need to have different kind of materials which can be used, because this has to be something different than the usual school learning program. And so then we contacted different organizations who have developed some material. But I think there's a need for developing more and more such kind of useful materials which can be used. And like you have developed, there's some materials which is time bound and easy to understand, even easy to run, and interesting also. Similarly, there are some computer-based software being developed, for literacy program. So we did, but there is some logistic problem. Uh, these women who are coming for the for the literacy program, they also develop a lot of materials, for drawing and cutting, and so very constructive. But these are the materials in a form which can be used, and then for longer time it becomes very difficult. Maybe used for one batch, two batch, three batch, but cannot be some kind of mass level production, and easily available to everybody. That, so like you have said, you are going to make some repository, and that will be available on internet, and people can download. So those kind of initiatives are required. But this kind of program needs to be followed, because see, at national level there are many such campaign has been launched. Teach one, each one. Everybody should teach one person. So this campaign was launched national level program. But what was the methodology? But there was no such kind of material. But basically, we are encouraging one person to teach one person. But so we need this kind of campaign, large scale, because the population is very high, and it cannot be like, even what we have done. It was not only on literacy. So we call it more as a function literacy. There was element of women collectivization, and based on the collective women power, we wanted to do some change making program in the community. So the focus was different. One of the focus was literacy also. So hence, but like our model where spending 4 months coming to one center, and then it's not feasible. So 20-minute program, 30-minute program, 1 hour program, 3 hours program where literacy can be imparted. That is, and in that process, new tools, techniques, toolkits. These are very important, and more such kind of resource organization like yours, need to spend a lot of time, develop some materials, and reach out to this civil society organization.
जी सर, बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने. It's correct. The observation also that you can't teach reading and writing together, though that's what we
Right,
normally do in schools. What we prefer to do is quick and easy,
right.
patapat, that they learn to
Fatafa.
read, and that's empowering. Then they are now thirsty to write. They do want to write from the beginning, but we've taught them already their name, let's say, in the beginning. So now we say, wait, it only takes 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks maximum to read a newspaper. Let's focus on that, and then we'll get to writing. For years you've not learned, and now just wait one more month, and you'll be able to learn to write. So don't rush. And all these other activities, like fun activities, we already have built-in games which are reinforcing of the learning, with the cards and all that. So we don't need to create anything extra, because we want to be quick and easy about it, and they should feel, oh, that's so easy to become literate. And those names are really designed, or these cards rather are designed for them to have a lot of fun, at the same time reinforce and consolidate what they have learned. And they're in the kit, so that's
Right.
really easy to use with. Yes.
Mhm.
Sunita ji, my understanding is also that a number of other civil society organizations, they are also having one component as adult literacy program, but they aren't, the people are not very trained, not very properly oriented on understanding the various facets of the challenges of running this kind of program, adult education program, the whole philosophy and the focus. We need the organization like yours, doing some kind of orientation program for for the civil society organization, because when we were trying to train our instructors, so we contacted different organization, different university also, but we said, they're going. So we need such kind of program where we are basically preparing people who will be facilitating this process. So facilitators of literacy program, some kind of program needs to be developed where civil society can be encouraged to send their people, because हमारे पास कार्यकर्ता बहुत है, we have workers, but with that kind of perspective and understanding, that is missing,
Mhm.
so in the name of literacy, they know how to खड़ा होकर टीचर के रूप में क ख ग कैसे पढ़ाना, they just know, but how to like there's so many things that we have discussed, they need to understand this, the whole process and pedagogy.
So
Very,
ideally,
very
of
true.
course, it'll be hand holding and being
Mhm.
with them in the field, at least in the beginning, so they acquire a new behavior pattern. But we can also do a lot of online training and support.
You can
So
do a
we can.
lot of online training, yes, Sunita ji.
So we're keen on that,
So,
sir, because they must do it the right way. And once they've understood the right way, it's forever. It's like acquiring a new skill forever.
mhm.
Right.
Very true, very true. That it's obviously the intention and the goodwill to teach is crucial, but so too is teaching in the right way that is really empowering and transformative for the learners. So I think we are almost out of time. So it's just been a really engaging discussion. Time has flown by as we're having fun. So can you would Ashokji and Sunita, would you like to share any final thoughts as we wrap up this discussion?
I think it was very useful discussion, and some of the very concrete thing has emerged that people who are doing some kind of developing some innovative material, there needs to do the प्रचार प्रसार करने की जरूरत है, send it to different organization. People should also learn, this kind of materials are available, and so we should request those organizations to start. This is the right time, a lot of people are doing online discussion online. So some kind of online processes can be started by you, and And this is important. Whatever, any kind of development program that you are doing, if you are also focusing on literacy, this will ultimately enhance the effectiveness of your program that you are being. It's not a separate project. It's not a any new development agenda. This is part of all kind of program that you are doing. So all the civil society organizations need to have some kind of strategy for promoting literacy program. There are organizations who have done a lot of work. They should interact with them, get some knowledge, you know, incorporate this, this strategy in your ongoing program. Have some more discussion. But maybe some should do some online discussion on this. And thank you very much. This was very useful for me. Also, I developed some new perspective on. So we are going to do some follow up, and in Jharkhand also we are planning to have some kind of collaboration and use the material. So thank you very much, Tom. Thank you, Sunita.
Thank you, sir, Ashokji. I want to say that collaboration, as you have also said, is the watchword for the future.
Right,
In the past, we used to always work on our own domains, everybody doing their own thing. So everybody has an advantage. You are eminently present in the field. You've got all these field workers who are dedicated, who are concerned, and that is powerful, really powerful. We don't have that. What we have is a toolkit.
right,
We have some ideas we've experimented with. We're sitting in a
right.
laboratory and creating these things. We want people to collaborate with us and take this in their own domains and make it bigger. And thank you for that collaboration that we have felt with Sahbagi Kendra, Siksha Kendra. And we want to continue with that and deepen that with your collaboration. And I hope we can all collaborate, because through collaboration we can do many more things.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much, Ashokji, once again for your insight and just for your years of dedication and service. It's made a huge difference in the lives of hundreds and thousands of women. So we salute you for it, and thank you to all of you who are listening. Thanks for your interest in this crucial topic of literacy. So please do stay tuned, and we've got some more exciting detox coming up soon. So stay tuned, and thank you also, Dr. Sunita. Thanks for all your comments and questions. And yeah, once again, please do reach out to us via our website, globaldream.guru. And you can also be a part of this incredible transformative process of teaching people how to read and write. It makes a huge difference in their lives, and so I really encourage you all to be a part of it. Thank you,
There are
everybody.
two
Thank you.
talks coming up. If Anushri or somebody else can please share, what are the two talks coming up at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock today? That'd be fantastic.
Okay, I'm just checking there. One second. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm struggling to open that.
No
But
problem.
yeah, we've got another talk coming up at 4 o'clock today. So please do stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks so
Thank you,
much.
Sunita.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
Tom.
thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Ashokji. Okay, all the best.